How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys fan, born to battle. Star on our chest means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the star shines bright, that's when we win. Angry Cowboys fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the angry Cowboys fan. Cowboys Nation, we got the dub yesterday. Was it a much-needed win? No, it wasn't. It was just a win against a divisional opponent. But as much as I wasn't impressed with the starters playing in yesterday's game, I understand why they did, and I'm not mad at it, Cowboys Nation. I'll keep it a buck. I am not mad at it. But let's go ahead and break down my thoughts about the offensive side of the ball during this Raw and Uncut. Get ready for the angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
I'm being keeping it real. Man, keep it real. That's real.
30-23, Cowboys Nation. With our starters in the game playing against the Washington Commanders, the lowly Washington Commanders, and starting their third-string quarterback, we won by a touchdown. Angry Cowboys fans, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all, but I'm going to keep it critical. I'm going to keep it critical during this video, but remember, it's all out of love. It's constructive and not destructive. This Dallas Cowboys offense has the makings to be a great offense if they could just remain consistent and remain aggressive throughout the entirety of the game and not just the first half. Overall, the Dallas Cowboys scored 30 points, but was it a fluid 30 points? Absolutely not. And what do I mean by fluid 30 points is I mean scoring 30 points throughout the entirety of the game. This offense struck, and it struck early, and it continued to add points in the second quarter. Coming out of the half, only 6 points scored by your offense while having your defense getting scored upon. We were outscored in the second half 13-6. But this is one of the things that I want Brian Schottenheimer to take a look at this offseason. Take a look at it and figure out how to consistently build upon it. This speaks to the level of the adjustments from Brian Schottenheimer coming out of the half, the counter punches coming out of the half. The first half can net you 21 to 24 points, but scoring in the second half has been coming few and far in between for this Dallas Cowboys team. In the last 3 games, the Dallas Cowboys offense has scored a total of 15 points. 15 points in the second half, Cowboys Nation. Some competitive teams can score that in one quarter, much less one half. Especially against a struggling Washington Commanders team. This has got to be cleaned up, Cowboys Nation. But I told you at the beginning of this video that this video would be my criticism. It would be critical, and I stand firm to that, Cowboys Nation. It's going to be constructive and not destructive. But one thing I didn't agree with was allowing Dak Prescott and the starters to play in the entirety of this game against the Washington Commanders. And let's keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation. Dak Prescott didn't look too impressive against our divisional opponents. A team that we usually handle with ease. A team that we usually boat race. Not only that, but Brian Schottenheimer needs to have enough spine to shut Dak Prescott and the starters down and stand firm on his decision. I understand that if the starters have to travel on Christmas, then that sucks and they should be playing in the game. I get that, Cowboys Nation. I'll forgive it for this game. But if Brian Schottenheimer allows the entire starting core to start in the New York Giants game, I'm going to have a separate Raw and Uncut just for Brian Schottenheimer. But anyhow, 19 completions out of 37 attempts, Cowboys Nation. That was Dak Prescott's stat line. 19 for 37. 307 yards passing with 2 touchdowns and 24 yards with his legs. In a vacuum, you'd think that was a pretty good stat line for your starting quarterback, but when you take into consideration who they were playing and how the second half looked, these stats aren't Dak Prescott's peak performances. I mean, these stats would be a great stat line for a player the likes of Jalen Hurts, but this is not the standard for a true pocket quarterback the likes of Dak Prescott. There were easy passes that weren't completed. I remember a check down to Javonte Williams that was thrown just out of Williams' range. But I honestly think that was a lead pass to where Javonte Williams should have been, but that's neither here nor there, Cowboys Nation. Another thing that I have gone on record to ask Dak Prescott to do is to take what the defense gives him. Stop standing in the pocket wanting these long plays to develop only to get sacked in the end. Dak Prescott got sacked 6 times yesterday. When I was watching the game live, there was a couple of times where I was yelling at the TV telling Dak Prescott to just get rid of the ball, Dak. Did he get rid of the ball? Nope. Bro just took the sack. But I'll be honest with you. A quarterback would much rather take the sack than to throw an interception or get a strip fumble trying to throw the ball away. At the same time, looking at each sack on the All-22 film, it wasn't as if Dak Prescott was just dancing and prancing in the pocket and just was holding on to the ball. A lot of those sacks had to do with your offensive line breaking down, and one sack actually came from Malik Davis not being able to pick up Bobby Wagner on a blitz. Does Dak Prescott have a tendency on holding on to the ball too long and taking sacks throughout the season? Absolutely, Cowboys Nation, but that wasn't the case in this game, even though some fans will bunch all of his tendencies into one game because him holding on to the football and taking sacks has been something that has been throughout his entire career. But Cowboys Nation, some fans have a problem with Dak Prescott taking the checkdowns. Honestly, Cowboys Nation, I have zero problem with it. Every team's going to come into the game trying to take away your primary receivers in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And speaking of CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to have my raw and uncut for him personally in this video, but that's a little bit later. But anyway, when they take away your primary targets, you have to hit your safety valves. This is what Dak Prescott has done, and he needs to continue it, in my personal opinion. You can't just say, well, Dak, you need to take what the defense gives you, but get frustrated when he takes what the defense gives him. It's easy for Cowboys fans that have an all-22 view on the field whenever we're watching the game in real time to say that somebody's wide open, but he decided to take a check down. There are so many things that factor into that type of decision to make him take the check down. How is the offensive line holding up? How much pressure do you have on the quarterback? I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation, but this isn't Madden 26 where the quarterback can just bomb the football down the field every single pass play. Also, bombing the ball down the field, sure, you may score quick, but that also puts your defense back out on the field. A defense Brian Schottenheimer has shown that he has zero faith in this year. And not only that, but in this type of scheme that Brian Schottenheimer's using, it's all about quick passes. It's all about timed routes. It's all about rhythm and timing. Your offensive coordinator can't call a 30-yard bomb each and every time they take the field to throw a pass play. When there were opportunities to throw it down the field, Dak Prescott has taken them. Devontae Turpin's touchdown is a prime example of pushing the ball down the field, but also taking what the defense gave him. Tampa 2 left the middle of the field wide open, and Dak Prescott and the offense exploited it. And you could tell that this game wasn't to get CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens involved too much until you started seeing fits in CeeDee Lamb's body language. This game was to give the players who may be looking to test free agency this upcoming year a shot to bolster their resume. I mean, I saw Jalen Tolbert get targeted a number of times during this game. Honestly, he got targeted more than George Pickens. He got targeted more than Jake Ferguson, more than Devontae Turpin, Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spann-Ford. I believe this was his parting gift from Brian Schottenheimer. Real talk, Cowboys Nation. And let me give my raw and uncut to CeeDee Lamb real quick. CeeDee Lamb's attitude can be extremely frustrating to watch, Cowboys Nation. When the ball comes his way and he doesn't come down with it or he gets it batted down, CeeDee Lamb starts to complain in his body language. There was a pass where Dak Prescott threw him a good ball, but the defender made a great play on the ball and batted it away. His body language was a little bit diva-ish, Cowboys Nation. Could Dak Prescott have put the ball in a different place? Absolutely. If Dak Prescott would have placed that ball on the other hash mark, that play could have went for a touchdown. I get it, Cowboys Nation. But stop pouting and get back to the damn huddle. Coming from a guy who used to play wide receiver and transitioned over to the tight end position, I understand the frustration when the ball comes your way and you don't come down with it because you think that the ball should have been thrown in a different position or a different place on the field. I get it, Cowboys Nation. The thing is, you are a professional NFL athlete. There's going to be times where this happens. Stop flailing your arms around and just get back to the damn huddle, CeeDee Lamb. I get it. You want to be able to floss and get your stats on a mediocre defense like the Washington Commanders, but damn, CD. If it doesn't work out the way that you want it, you don't start showing diva tendencies. Get back to the huddle. Try it again. And I honestly think that he was over-targeted this game because of the diva attitude. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation, but I am a fond believer in the overall team goal and not my own personal goal. I would hope that this would be the same for a wide receiver who's getting paid millions of dollars, who's currently over the 1,000-yard mark in the season, that has absolutely nothing to play for except for his stats for the remainder of the season. CeeDee Lamb, I love you, bro. I love your play. I love your aggressiveness. But damn, come on now. You are a role model. You have other wide receivers looking up to you. Don't show them how not to act, CeeDee Lamb. No matter if you want to be a leader or not, you are a leader because of what you get paid. And this offensive line, that needs to work on picking up stunts because a few of the sacks during the game came from getting beat on stunts. Cooper Beebe, he got beat a couple of times that resulted in a sack. Tyler Smith got beat a couple of times. One of them resulted in a sack. But I understand that this offensive line can't be expected to hold up for 5 and 6 seconds while your quarterback dances and prances in the pocket, but you at least got to give them 3 seconds to find a target. At the same time, Brian Schottenheimer, you can't keep calling plays that put pressure on your offensive line to hold up until a long-ass play develops. If that's the case, more jumbo sets need to be employed on the offensive side of the ball. A running back that has great pass pro chops needs to be in the game. Malik Davis, I'm sorry, but you're not good at pass pro, bro. Hence why they substituted Hunter Lipke into the game. But overall, Cowboys Nation, I wasn't mad at winning this game. I actually wanted to come in and win this game. I wanted to beat the Washington Commanders. I'm honestly against tanking for the draft, just to get a draft pick, Cowboys Nation. I want this Dallas Cowboys team to win any game that they play, but I didn't want them to play their starters the entirety of the game against the Washington Commanders. I was hoping to see our depth pieces in the game just to be able to evaluate who should be staying and who should be on the chopping block. The only time that I say tank is when we're going to realistically go into the next draft to draft a top-tier quarterback to replace Dak Prescott down the road. Our record, Dak's performance this year, as well as the draft capital that we currently have for the 2026 NFL draft, it is highly unlikely for this Dallas Cowboys team to be shopping for a quarterback in the first round. So I say, go out there and win. Real talk, just go out there and win. We'll draft a couple great pieces, a couple day one starters with our first round draft picks for the Dallas Cowboys team. There's no need to tank this year. But at the same time, there's no need to put these players in danger and getting injured in a completely meaningless game, Cowboys Nation. The game is meaningful to Cowboys Nation because it's against a division rival. But the overall outlook, playing Dak and the starters was flirting with disaster. More so if you played them against the New York Giants in the season finale. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. Cowboys Nation, I had to get my raw and uncut on the performance of our Dallas Cowboys offense. We all know that our defense is weak sauce, but I wanted to break down how our offense looked against the Washington Commanders. But y'all know how we do. We're going to get a chance to talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share this content with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will almost guarantee that we'll get even more Dallas Cowboys fans to come on over to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and join the ACF family in rooting on our Dallas Cowboys together. And if you are DC for life and you see where I'm coming from in this video, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release another video, podcast episode, or film breakdown. And I'll be breaking down the sacks from this past game against the Washington Commanders. Also, you can catch my Madden 26 and College Football 26 gameplay on my new channel, the Angry Cowboys Fan Gaming Channel. I'll put the link to the page in the description. but I might make an entire video series dedicated to the things that each offensive group could work on so that they're more efficient next year. If that's something that y'all want to see, let me know in the comment section, all right? But once again, this game was the tale of two halves. This is one of the main things our Dallas Cowboys had to work on in order to be more effective next year. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. I hope each and every one of you had a very Merry Christmas and an even happier New Year. And I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.